Hi guys, we're back for more Salted Word. We're in Salted Samuel now. We're in chapter 4. This is Salted Love International Ministry, Slim for short. I don't like wrapping up so quickly. I had to wrap that last one up pretty quickly. I got a little overconfident with how much I could wrap up in a short amount of time. So you know what I'm going to do actually? I'm just going to double back a little bit because I was kind of talking about how if you read in verse 8 of chapter 4, the Philistines refer to God, these mighty gods, as in more than one God. Because you got to remember, the Philistines and all of them, they worshiped multiple gods. And they didn't, I guess they couldn't just comprehend how powerful our God is to be one God to do all these miracles. Like there had to be a different God that split the sea, then sent the locusts, and one God can't accomplish all these things. It's just how they were. They didn't have the reverence for God. And yet, God still allowed them to defeat the Israelites and take the Ark of His Covenant. Absolute craziness. But again, when He's going to punish you, He's going to punish you. He didn't have any stock in that Ark. That Ark was for them. And they mistreated it. They misused it, and they lost it. But don't worry. He's God. He always has a way. Now, we are starting from verse 12, which is right after it says, "Moreover, the ark of God was taken, and the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were died." Which, remember, God promised Eli both his sons would die at the same time. Check. God don't lie. It says, "Now a man of Benjamin ran from the battle line and came to Shiloh the same day with his clothes torn and dust on his head." This is a sign of mourning. "When he came, behold, Eli was sitting on his seat by the road, keeping watch, because his heart was anxious about the ark of God." Not even about his kids, about the ark of God. That's how you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be more worried about God than anything else. So at least he's doing that right. Which, personal opinion, what happens next is favor and mercy and a reward. When he came, behold, Eli was sitting on his seat by the road, keeping watch, because his heart was anxious about the ark of God. And the man came to give a report in the city, and all the city cried out. When Eli heard the noise of the outcry, he said, "What does the noise of this commotion mean?" Then the man came hurriedly and told Eli. Now Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes were fixed, and he could not see. The man said to Eli, "I am the one who came from the battle line. Indeed, I escaped from the battle line today." And he said, "How are things, my son?" Excuse me. Then the one who brought the news replied, "Israel has fled before the Philistines, and there has also been a great defeat among the people. And your two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, are also dead, and the ark of God has been taken." Watch this again. When he mentioned the ark of God, Eli fell off the seat backward beside the gate, and his neck was broken, and he died, for he was very old and heavy. And so he judged Israel for 40 years. 40 years, again, that's how many years the Israelites wandered through the desert. I want you to recognize God called him out on making himself and his children making themselves fat from disrespecting his offering. That's what contributed to his death. I want you to notice he fell after he heard about the ark, not about his sons. And God did say he was going to take him out. Now, in my personal opinion, this was mercy. As soon as you get all this bad news, you fall and your neck breaks. He didn't turn into a vegetable. He didn't get some serious illness that took a long time to kill him and suffering. My man got the bad news and he died on the spot. To me, that's mercy. It says, "Now his daughter-in-law, Phinehas' wife, was pregnant and about to give birth. And when she heard the news that the ark of God had been taken, and that her father-in-law and her husband had died, she kneeled down and gave birth, because her pains came upon her. And about the time of her death, the women who were standing by her said to her, 'Do not be afraid, for you have given birth to a son.' But she did not answer or pay attention. And she named the boy Ichabod, saying, 'The glory has departed from Israel, because the ark of God had been taken, and because of her father-in-law and her husband.' So she said, 'The glory has departed from Israel, because the ark of God has been taken.'" Again, look at these people. See, I don't understand how these people so close to these people who disrespected God so immensely were actually so reverent. Like, again, the first thing she says, the first thing that they're talking about is the ark. Forget the fact that my husband is dead, it's the ark. But then she gives birth to a son and dies. Like, sad times, I guess. But again, it's you treat God a certain way, he's going to let you be treated a certain way. Now the Philistines took, this is chapter 5, now the Philistines took the ark of God and brought it from Ebenezer to Ashdod. Then the Philistines took the ark of God and brought it into the house of Dagon and placed it beside Dagon. Dagon is a false god. Dagon is an idol. Dagon is a demon. And they put the ark of God next to it. Now watch what God does, because he's God. I love it. It's just, he could have just been like, yeah, sure, whatever, I don't care. But that's just not how God rolls. But when they got up early, when the Ashdodites got up early in the next day, behold, Dagon had fallen on his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord. So they took Dagon and set him back in his place. See, man fell on his face, bowing before the Lord God of Israel. Nothing can stand in our God's presence. No demons, no false gods, all that nonsense. God don't know. You'd think these people might take a hint, but they set him back in his place. But when they got up early the next morning, behold, Dagon had fallen on his face to the ground before the ark of the Lord. And the head of Dagon and both palms of his hands were cut off on the threshold. Only the torso of Dagon was left. For that reason, neither the priests of Dagon nor any who entered Dagon's house step on the threshold of Dagon in Ashdod to this day. Now, there was something there. I think it was, don't get me wrong on this, but I think it was Jezebel. There was somebody who is a great enemy of the Lord that this is like prophetic of, because I believe that they ate everything but her head and her hands. The dogs. I think it was Jezebel. It's way later in the Bible, but this is prophetic of another, because Jezebel was huge on false gods and all that jazz. Demons as they were. It says, now the hand of the Lord was very heavy on the Ashdodites, and he made them feel devastated and struck them with tumors, both Ashdod and its territories. When the men of Ashdod saw that it was so, they said, the ark of the God of Israel, now they got it right, not the gods plural, the God singular, put respect on his name, must not remain with us, because his hand is severe on us and Dagon our God. All right, I'm going to cut it off there. Well, that was Salted Samuel part 4. Put salt on that word, put salt on that love, keep it rolling, read it for yourselves. I'm going to do part 5 as well, but we're cutting it off because I don't want to do that thing where I just cut it off so quick. So again, this is enjoyable. To me, this stuff is very enjoyable. This is a good, not only is it the good book, it's a good book. It's got entertaining elements. It's got a lot of modern day usability, I guess is the way to put it. And, again, we should be in our Bibles. This is our daily bread. This is not everything in it is going to be fighting and excitement, but it does have those things. But at the end of the day, it's how we're going to know who God is. Like, look, this is who God is. God isn't going to stand next to your false gods and your idols and just let it slide. He's going to do something about it. Even if he's mad at you, he's still going to put respect on his name. He's still going to glorify himself. He punished the Israelites, but still turned that into glory for himself among the Ashdodites. And, of course, anybody who reads the Bible, because it's written in history. It's for eternity. So, good stuff.